Hey, our channel is in Russian. My name is John. Our channel is called Jon and Eva, my wife, and we're traveling around the world right now. We hitchhiked to Novosibirsk from Moscow. We plan on going through Asia, Africa, South America, up to Canada. So if you know Russian, go on over and check it out. If you don't know Russian,
still go. So where are you from originally?
Canada. From Nova Scotia, east coast of Canada, if anybody knows.
You lived in America. We're in a coffee shop, so that's why you're gonna hear some noises.
I lived in Utah. I studied in the U.S. for 2 years, and I've been there a few times before that.
He knows what's up in America. Canada's, I guess, pretty similar.
In many ways, similar, yeah.
We're just gonna talk about the differences that are between living in Russia and America.
Yeah, overall, just the first time I came to Russia was in 2007, and I've been in Russia and Ukraine for about 3 years total. So I've seen a bunch. It's hard for me to remember the differences too, but we've talked, and I think we have a good list.
Yeah, we have a whole list of them. You know, there's like culture shock whenever you go to a new place. The first time I ever came to America was in 2012, and I was in Indiana. The first thing that I noticed was different is food portions, or the size of the portion. It's huge. They give you like a whole ridiculous amount of food, and I couldn't eat it all, and I felt bad because my host family back then, they would pay for my food and I would not eat it all. I just can't eat that much food, so. I mean, it's not just food too, like if you go to the store, there's like a gallon of milk, a gallon of shampoo, like
everything is huge.
Yeah.
Bagged of chips, like, you know.
Yeah, detergent, it's like.
That's true, and it's convenient in many cases. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, you can even buy like cereal in kilograms.
Yeah, like this. When you came to Russia, was it small? Like, did it seem small?
That was really like my first impression of Russia. I flew into Moscow and I got on a bus to Voronezh, which is about 500 kilometers, like 300 miles south of Moscow. 8 hours on the bus. One driver was sleeping like under the bus, and then they switched. I don't know. We stopped at like this cafe like halfway through, and I didn't know anything. And the woman that we were with, had like a translator, and she was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I don't know." We decided like I'll get a salad, and there was like one salad leaf and like a tomato, but I don't like tomatoes. That might have been it. And there was no sauce. I like to charge for sauces here. And maybe a cucumber, yeah. And that was like it. It was like a tiny plate. I don't remember how much I paid. It wasn't expensive, but it was like. What? Like, welcome to Russia.
There's one thing, another thing that most foreigners kind of notice in America is the bathroom stalls. How big the crack is between like the door and the other like stall. You can literally see through. And also the distance between the floor and the door, like that distance also really big. Because in Russia it's usually like a whole room, and I think in the UK it's the same, and in Europe in general. Actually, speaking of bathrooms, we just say toilet. I know they say that in the UK as well. Like we just say, oh, where's the toilet? And in America it's the restroom or the bathroom. Washroom in Canada.
Sometimes washroom, yeah. Sometimes they won't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand bathroom and restroom because you don't just have rest there and there's no bath in there or like a bathtub. So why is it a bathroom?
There's no bath.
Yeah. All you Americans out there, please answer that. That has been a mystery for me. And I've lived in America for 2 years. That's the next one. It's kind of a thing that people do in like universities and schools on campuses, like in a lecture hall or something, or in a classroom. They'll just like sit down on the floor. Floors are clean, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
But you would never see anyone sitting on the floor here. It's just, it's not a thing.
It's a superstition, right? Like they say like your ovaries will freeze or something.
Yeah, that also means you're like homeless or something.
But yeah, we can sit wherever we want, Canada and the US. It's a freedom, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. Another one I put down was news, and it's like, it's kind of big, a big topic. They don't really show international news as much in American TV. Like the BBC News does that. Usually it's like local news in your town or in your state. The last time I was in America was like June, and they were talking about like ISIS and Crimea, but those the only two things they were talking about. But there are things going on everywhere in the world, and they're not really covering those. Or maybe they are, but people are not interested. Maybe they just watch local news, so people don't know like where like the capital of Canada is, or I don't know, where Russia is, or Crimea or something. So, I don't want to call all Americans like ignorant or dumb or whatever, because if I did, that would be really weird of me to go to study there.
But I've noticed sometimes I don't seem to know as much about other places. Yeah. No offense.
Like even like I live pretty close to Canada, I would say, like 6 hours away maybe from the border. So some Canadians that come in again for like music festivals and stuff, they only know the stereotype that Canadians are really kind. But then I would hear people say Canadians are nothing like kind. Like I hear people say that, and then they would just not know like not a whole lot of things about like where things are and provinces and everything.
Yeah.
They call them states too sometimes.
Yeah. What state are you from in Canada?
That's another one that I kind of noticed when I first came, and I would just, drive on the street, and I would look outside my window, and there would be like the Lutheran Church, Presbyterian, Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses, Seventh Day, what's their name?
Adventists,
those.
Pentecostals.
Yeah, all those. And Baptist, did I say Baptist? Yeah, like all kinds of religions. And they're all Christian, and they're like believe in God and have like the Bible or whatever. But it's just so many, and to me they're all kind of like the same. In Russia you only see Islamic, because we're kind of close to that area, of the world. Then we have some Buddhist, we have, most of Russia is Orthodox Christian, and then we have some Catholic churches in here, so they're not that many, I guess, denominations. So.
They all exist here, but they're not, but Orthodox is huge,
really
like 90-some%, so it's like, the other ones are like small little groups.
I guess it's because it's like freedom of religion. Well, it is. There's freedom of religion here too.
Well, for one thing, a lot of the Protestants came to the U.S. because of their religion.
Air conditioning. Oh right. Well, I don't think there's air. There is. I see like the air conditioner and everything, but it doesn't feel like there is air conditioning here. Maybe because it's really cold outside. I live in Siberia, so I guess generally in Russia it gets cold, so that's why we don't really have much air conditioning in a lot of places. In Moscow it gets hot, or like Sochi. In America sometimes it's just freezing. Like some lecture halls at my university, I have to bring a sweater with me when it's like 100 degrees outside. I'm carrying a sweater in my backpack because I know it's going to be freezing cold in the lecture hall.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
I don't think it's just because of the climate. I wanted to talk about this for a second because here there's a thing they call skvozняк in Russian. If you don't know Russian, then this is very interesting. It's like a draft, like a breeze. So in Russia, oftentimes, like if you're at somebody's house and like the window is open, they will ask you like, the wind's not blowing on your back, is it? Like because you might get sick. And I thought like I didn't realize how far it extends, but I even heard legit doctors be like, my buddy's neck hurt, and he asked like, so he helped him fix it, and he's like, so what do you think, like, why is my neck hurt? And he's like, it's probably the draft, like, it's probably skvozняк. Like, are you serious? I find the Russians also dress better for the weather, like.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that people like tell me, because I'm from, I'm Siberian, so they say, oh, you're from Siberia, you must be really, have like resistance to cold. I say no, being Siberian is not, being able to handle cold, but dressing appropriately for the weather.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because we have more cars and less like public transportation or walking, but like, I don't know, in Canada or cold places in the US, it's not that uncommon to see somebody in like a t-shirt or shorts in the winter even. As far as like clothing goes, we also wanted to mention that in Russia, especially women usually dress up like for everything. Like if you go to the store, like they dress up, and in the big cities, the more Europeanized cities, there a lot of people are in sneakers and stuff. But maybe just going back, when I was in Russia the first time, I went to this small city. It was 2007, and it was very different. I mean, even from Moscow, like. There was hardly anybody wearing jeans there. Almost all women were in skirts and high heels.
High heels is a big thing. Well, also like, I don't know, putting makeup on like whenever you go to the store, because usually what the argument is that the girls say, like, oh, what if I see someone?
Somebody you know or whatever.
So you gotta look nice. But if it's a long walk, if it's just there, I'm just gonna put on sweatpants. But then again, if you're wearing sweatpants, people are gonna be like, oh, like, are you okay? Like, are you homeless or something? Are you going to dacha today? So
other things, like, just from the first time I came, and Russia has changed a lot since then, plus, like, different cities differ. My first impressions were, like, it was very, like, gray and, dirty, in a way, Voronezh was. Maybe it's different now, too. I haven't been in Voronezh recently. And there was a lot of street dogs. That's what I mentioned in Filoshka's video, that in America there are a lot of homeless people, but here there are a lot of homeless dogs. Now in Moscow there's hardly any homeless dogs, virtually none. But when I was in Voronezh the first time, there was like groups, like 15 homeless dogs, and I lived in this like dirt street, and there was like homeless dogs all over, and I hear like MC Hammer blasting. It was like I just went to the pads and everybody's got mullets. Wow. And there was like no jeans, but things have changed a lot now, and Moscow is very different, even back then. It was almost like just like going back to the past a little bit. And Russia, in a way, even today is like that in a way, because the new things that come up are usually things that already exist. Yeah. I mean, no offense to Russia or Russians, but things like drive-thrus, or for example, is kind of a newer thing, and in Novosibirsk it's like really fresh, and everything kind of already existed before. If you look at an American family,
Like, mom has a car, dad has a car.
Kids have cars sometimes,
cars,
yeah. You have like at least 2 cars per family, and I don't know, in general I'd say. In Canada too, like oftentimes we had like 3, 4 cars sometimes.
And
they're cheaper too.
Oh, they're so much cheaper. And they also travel by car a lot. Like their interstates, is there the same system in Canada?
Yeah, we have just big highways, same kind of thing.
In Russia there are highways, but like you don't see people traveling there as much. People use the train. Trains are really big, and planes. And also Russia is super big. Like it would take you, I don't know, a week at least to get from one side to another.
To drive, probably take like at least like a week and a half, I think. Yeah.
It's 8 days from Moscow to Vladivostok on a train.
So customer service is a big thing. Well, I don't know, what was your first impression of customer service when you went to the US?
Hi, how are you doing today? Would you like, I don't know, a side of something? Are you doing okay? Do you need anything else? And I hated that in restaurants because I'm eating and I have like a mouthful. Like, don't talk to me, please. Like, I'll give you a tip. It's okay. When you walk into the store and there are a whole bunch of people coming up to you like, oh, would you like this new collection? Or like, would you like any help with this? And it's like, do I look like I need help? Like, am I asking you for help? Like in Russia, you just ask and you get it, but if you don't ask, then you're not gonna get it. It's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little annoying.
Yeah, in Russia, things are changing. You find people that are super nice and stuff, and sometimes it's strange in Russia to find like...
They're working for tips, so they gotta,
sometimes,
be nice.
But sometimes even in stores, regular stores, people are just nice. I don't know.
They're probably in a good mood, so that's why they are.
Sometimes they just like don't care at all, and it's not good business, you know, because I went to get a car wash. I go in, and the guy's like on a computer just searching for something. I'm like, hey, can I like wash my car here? And he doesn't even look at me. He's like, yeah. Like, so what do I do? Where do I drive in? And then it was just like I was just like bothering him. It was like just really made me not want to go back there.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you have to wonder like, am I the customer here or they are my customer? Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
are they supposed to be helping me or like I don't know.
Yeah. And also in the US you talk to the cashiers. You have like a small talk to them. Like you just I don't know, like how has your day been? Like how are you doing today? And then you can just continue talking to them like, oh, I went to the movies today. Like, oh, what movie did you see? Like it's just a conversation. Here, if you just start talking to them like that, they're like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me like this?
It's very rare, very rare.
Thinking of what's weird and what's not. Smiling at people in public.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like a creep in here. Well, I guess in America, so like you don't just smile at someone randomly, but it's
but if
one of those things.
In the US, like in many places at least, like if you're walking, you can kind of like smile and say hi.
Yeah.
You know, to somebody, but here you don't. If you smiled and said hi to somebody, they would immediately think. They would say like, "Do I know you?"
Yeah.
Like they would think that they like are supposed to recognize you, and they would want to like stop and talk, or they just look at you like you're crazy. Because smiling, if you don't like for no reason on the street, it's kind of like you may be kind of crazy.
Yeah. Смех без причины, признак причины.
Yeah.
The stereotype of like Russians that never smile and everything. It's of course it's not true because it's a stereotype. But if you look closely on the street, sometimes and people are all serious. And then you see some, like two friends seeing each other, and you see they're all like smiling and like hugging. We're only nice to those we know. Yeah. We're not nice to everyone. And that's the thing I like and also dislike about Russia. Because in the US, people are like wearing a mask when they're talking to you, and it's like they're not being sincere.
Putting on the happy face or whatever. Yeah, I can see that. The one thing that like, how are you is like a greeting. I've kind of like gotten out of the habit. Like I don't really like it anymore. Cashiers say like, hey, how are you? I just say good, thanks. Yeah. Because I don't care. Like, I mean, even if I ask them how are they will say good. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything, so I just don't. I just say good, thanks.
Yeah. Also, saying have a good day, and it's gotten so bad for me when you say you too at the end. Then when they would tell me, I don't know, like in the movies.
Have a good flight or something.
Yeah. Like I'm walking to the movies and they're like checking my I don't know the ticket or whatever, and they say have a good movie, and I would say you too, and I'm like, oh no, you're just the person. Yeah. Healthcare.
Yeah, we'll talk about, I don't know.
So
Russian
in Canada
healthcare.
and Russia, healthcare is free except for dentistry. So when you go to the dentist, it's still not as expensive as it is in America. It's pretty expensive for Russians, I would say. But if you go to the doctor and you have like a cold or you have like a liver problem or like a heart disease or something, you just go in. Picking, like just going in there before the doctor does anything, you don't have to pay any, no money at all. The money that you pay before you do anything, the copay or something?
Yeah, there's often co-payments, like you pay a certain amount for insurance. You have insurance to begin with, you have to now, right? In the Obamacare and stuff. And then, that doesn't cover everything. then you have to still pay, like, if you just go for a checkup, like, I think that's what you're trying to say, to just see the doctor, then you're going to pay like $30 or something. It depends on the insurance. But yeah, in Canada, you don't pay that at all, and in Russia, typically, you don't.
I mean, you can pay money if you want to go to like a private clinic or something where it's like better quality. Generally, you can get really nice healthcare without paying. Because you just kind of, I think you pay like 100 rubles maybe, which is like $1 or something for the little piece of paper. That's like the word used. I don't know. Like it shows where you live. So and then because each doctor is like assigned to a certain area.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we don't have that.
I pay like $1,500 per year for the international insurance, and I don't use it at all because they told me, if you go for a checkup, you will only pay like $20. I'm like, well, but I'm paying the insurance. Like, why is this? Why do I have to pay more? And then, thank goodness though, we had the meningitis epidemic situation on campus last year. And I have to go get a shot, actually 2 shots. I'm getting my 3rd one in October. And the insurance covered it. So
that's nice.
But if you don't have insurance, you're screwed, so.
Yeah, pretty much. In Canada, like, it's all covered, but medicine is not. Like prescriptions.
Oh yeah. Okay, we do have prescription, but they're not like those orange.
Yeah.
But the doctor just has to write the paper.
Prescription, they call that a prescription, yeah. There's a lot of things you can get here without prescriptions, too.
Oh yeah. And you just go to the like pharmacy and you get, the meds are really cheap. But I would say American ones work better. Like Advil is better than paracetamol. Yeah.
Better painkillers in the US.
Okay, I think I'm done with my American references, I guess. Now they're Russian ones.
So some of them we've already gone over. One thing that may be interesting, traveling with a lot of cars, trains virtually like nobody uses except for like inner city trains like metro, like the subway. But between cities, very, very rare in the US and in Canada. Here, lots of trains.
Amtrak.
Like we already talked about it. Amtrak. Yeah, but in the US, like not so. Maybe between some big cities.
I think it's for like mail, like post and stuff. Like that's what the trains are for now. Here it's huge. In Novosibirsk alone, we have like 4 railway stations.
It's cheaper often to fly than to.
Or take a bus.
Than to take a train. And then buses, buses are probably like next, more popular than trains, but then cars are probably most popular. Marriage is a little bit different. Here in Russia, maybe you can explain.
Yeah, so we have something called a palace of marriage, which is really weird. It's called ZAGS.
It's like a government building.
Yeah, it's a government building. So it's the same place. So you get married there, and you also get a divorce there.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's like a government building that deals with like marriage and.
You can also get like engaged in the church. That's like a huge ceremony. It's really cool.
Yeah, but the actual like official marriage is typically it's only in these official government places. And very rarely you can somehow get them to go somewhere, but it still has to be these official people, right? In Canada and the US, you just get a marriage license, and it's just a piece of paper that says you're allowed to get married. Which usually is pretty simple. I got married in Canada, my wife is Russian, and all we needed to show was like her passport and my like ID. That's it, and sign some paper. There are many people who have the authority to like marry some just public officials, like judges I think can marry priests, yeah. So basically like any church, you can go there and be married. You can be married in your house, on the beach, you can be married at a church, the place doesn't matter at all.
The thing with like the marriage licenses and everything, so we have passports and it's like our ID. Because I guess in the West, it's all about the driver's license, and that's like your main ID, or
usually.
Like the state ID. And in Russia, your passport is everything is in there. If someone knows your passport number, they know your like credit history and everything. So you're kind of screwed if they know that. You get like a stamp in your passport.
Where you live, right? Too, like.
Yeah.
Where you live is in there.
And if you get married, if you have a kid.
And divorce is in there, like stamps, right?
Yeah.
Okay, alcohol. I don't drink at all, but I've seen a little bit about the alcohol culture in Canada and the US and in Russia. And in Russia, the stereotype is true in a way that people do drink more. In my experience at least, and a lot more hard liquor like vodka. I went to somebody's place and it's sort of like accepted. It's like the the culture to offer like vodka.
Gesture. It's a nice gesture, yeah.
And I came to this guy's place and he offered me a vodka and I said, no, I don't drink. And then I think he even insisted a little bit. And then it turned out that he said, I don't drink either. But it's just like
it's
cultural,
gesture,
yeah, it's just like nice to offer people vodka when they come visit. That's very different. We don't have that at all.
You're lucky because if you're in Russia and someone offers you vodka, you should say yes. I mean, unless you don't drink. But if you say you don't drink, they might think that you're being rude.
Yeah, they may find it offensive.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're coming to my house and you don't accept my vodka? Like, what is this?
One last thing, the last thing that we didn't write down, but language. One thing that I noticed is like when you go to the US and in Canada, maybe it's just because there's so many immigrants, but people speak in many different ways. In the US there are a lot of different accents, but if immigrants come and they say something a little bit wrong, people will still understand them. But when I first came to Russia, and my friends, like some people that kind of knew some Russian, you say a word that's like so similar. One sound is just a little bit off, and like sometimes I just like don't understand it all. There's a word sol, which means salt, and the L is a little bit different than in English,
yeah,
right?
It's a soft ultrasound.
Soft L. And my friend was like sol, and he's like asking for salt, and then just like what? And after like a few minutes, they like. Sol. Really, even Moscow, the capital of Russia, has like nothing in English. So if you're planning on coming here, like, I don't know, you're brave. But it's cool. It's definitely.
But people would understand you in English, though.
Yeah, you can find your way around. It's definitely doable. But like, I just kind of amazed that even in the capital of the country, like, the subway like does not have English. There are different places, that's for sure. But the people are the same everywhere.
I like to say that people and governments are governments because. There's all kinds of things going on between the governments, but people are still nice. I would like to invite everyone to Russia. It's not a scary place.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to scare people.
Yeah. Alright, well thank you guys for watching this video. Click on Jon to subscribe to their channel. It's in Russian, but you can still watch it. Really cool videos there.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. Subscribe to their Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram. We write our Instagram in Russian and in English, so yeah, check that out.
And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Bye!